Nobody expected something this big to drop on a random Monday night. But Katt Williams' latest allegations about Ellen DeGeneres may be the most significant ones yet. There are spiritual things happening in this world, things that go beyond coincidence. And a ritual, as Katt has explained it, is something done over and over again, the same way, every single time. There was always one question people in Hollywood avoided. How did someone who built an entire brand around kindness end up being described behind closed doors as cold, controlling, and even a little frightening to work with? That question kept circling back whenever Ellen DeGeneres came up. On camera, she was all smiles, dancing, and warmth. Off camera, the stories painted a very different picture. For nearly 2 decades, she ruled daytime television. The Ellen DeGeneres Show became one of the most watched talk shows in America. Celebrities lined up for a seat on her couch. Millions tuned in every single day. And her message never changed. Be kind to one another. But when the show came to an abrupt end, the whispers got louder. People started asking what was really going on when the cameras stopped rolling. And that's where Katt Williams enters the picture. Katt has never played it safe. While others stayed quiet to protect their careers, he spoke openly and often. He said for years that Hollywood isn't what it looks like from the outside. That beneath the polished surface, things get dark in ways most people never see. He's described industry parties where powerful people behave without a single filter, where things happen in plain sight that nobody dares acknowledge. He talked about hidden rooms, hidden lives, and a system that rewards silence above everything else. He also warned about something broader, that many entertainers feel pressured to become someone they're not just to survive. To stay successful, they follow the rules, keep powerful people satisfied, and never step out of line. In his view, the system doesn't reward talent nearly as much as it rewards compliance. But Ellen didn't start at the top. She was born on January 26, 1958 in Louisiana, and long before the fame, she lived an ordinary life, picking up regular jobs while trying to figure out her path. In the early 1980s, she began doing stand-up in small clubs, performing late at night for small crowds who didn't yet know her name. Then in 1986, everything shifted. She appeared on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson and delivered a set that stopped the room. Carson invited her to sit on the couch afterward. In that era, that gesture meant one thing. You had arrived. Her career moved quickly from there. In the 1990s, she starred in her own sitcom. Then in 1997, she made a decision that shook Hollywood. She came out publicly as gay, at a time when that kind of announcement carried serious professional consequences. Her sitcom was canceled not long after. Certain networks pulled away. For a moment, it looked like the industry had closed its doors on her. But she came back. In 2003, she launched The Ellen DeGeneres Show and returned with a very deliberate image. Positive, warm, generous, and endlessly kind. At the close of every episode, the same 6 words. Be kind to one another. That phrase became her identity, her promise to the audience, and the foundation of her brand. The show ran for nearly 20 years, produced over 3,000 episodes, collected dozens of awards, and made her one of the most powerful names in American television. Then the cracks began to show. Former staff members started speaking out. They described the workplace as tense and exhausting. One early employee said they were told not to make eye contact with Ellen or approach her without being invited to. People described a culture of fear where you were either in the circle or you weren't, and the consequences of being out were felt immediately. First-time writers reportedly broke down in the hallways. Veterans described working through grueling 12 and 14-hour days during sweeps months until people had nothing left to give. One account described a process where someone else would be the one yelling and creating the pressure while Ellen stood back, watching and laughing. The person on television and the person in that building were described as 2 very different people. The stories kept coming. A waitress at a West Hollywood restaurant claimed that after serving Ellen and her wife Portia at Sunday brunch, her boss received a complaint email. The issue? Chipped nail polish. According to the waitress, she was facing a 2-week unpaid suspension and ultimately quit rather than accept it. She had been a fan before that day. She wasn't after. Then old interview clips began resurfacing and people started watching them differently. There was the moment with Taylor Swift, where Ellen pushed her repeatedly to talk about her dating life during a segment that grew visibly uncomfortable. There was the moment with Dakota Johnson, who corrected Ellen on live television about not being invited to her birthday party, a small crack in the smooth surface that people couldn't stop watching. But the clip that landed hardest involved Mariah Carey. During a 2008 interview, Ellen brought up pregnancy rumors that were circulating at the time. Rather than simply asking and moving on, she brought out champagne and pressured Mariah to take a sip on camera, framing it as a way to confirm or deny the rumors. Mariah visibly resisted. She told Ellen she couldn't believe she was doing this. Ellen kept pushing. The audience laughed. Mariah eventually gave in. What the audience didn't know at the time was that Mariah had not yet announced the pregnancy publicly because of her history with miscarriages. She wasn't ready. Shortly after that interview, she suffered another one. Years later, Mariah spoke about how deeply uncomfortable that moment had made her and how she has never forgotten it. When people found out the full context, the clip stopped being funny. The laughter felt wrong in hindsight, and the be kind image felt harder to hold on to. This is exactly the kind of pattern Katt Williams has pointed to for years. Not just one bad moment, but a carefully constructed public identity that doesn't match what happens behind closed doors. He has argued that the entertainment industry is built, in part, on the ability to make people believe something that isn't entirely true. That those who profit from that manipulation have had it easy for a long time. But he also said something else. That we're in a different moment now. That people are hungrier for truth than they used to be, and that this hunger is making things harder for those who built their empires on a version of themselves that was never quite real. The public saw one version of Ellen DeGeneres. Clean, dancing, joyful, and kind. Some of the people who worked closest with her say they saw something else entirely. And when stories like these get connected to everything Katt Williams has been warning about, the picture starts to look less like a coincidence and more like a pattern hiding in plain sight. Do you think we'll ever see the full picture come out? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if this kind of conversation is something you want more of, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming next.